Okay, at 7 o'clock, I'm going to call the village nuclear board meeting to order. Please silence all cell phones during the meeting and look for an approval of the agenda. I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, public appearances and citizens' comments. No items not listed on this agenda. Items will not be debated or acted upon at this meeting, but will refer to the proper staff committee if action is required, and please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone from the public that wants to speak?
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Okay. Chief Police is going to introduce our new police officer to us.
All right, everybody, this is Brian Bennett. He's come from Broadhead Police Department. He was our #1 candidate in the process. He's got 16 years law enforcement experience in Broadhead. We were a little bit, I guess, more marketable than Broadhead at the time, and he wanted to come here. So he started June 21st. We swore him in. So he's in the FTO phase right now, the field training. He's mainly assigned with Officer Crone. And welcome.
Welcome aboard, man. I guess we'll just,
You want to do like an intro, or you?
yeah, I'm Rob Truck, the village president.
Michael Bell.
Larry Stevens.
Chuck Phillips.
Peggy Cruz.
Goff Thompson.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 4, approval of the consent agenda. I move to approve the consent agenda. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, new business. Consideration discussion class 3 liquor license applications for Fat Cat and Rusty Raven. I guess I got a couple of questions about this. First of all, when the licenses, when we had 2 come available before, Fat Cat applied for it, and we did not give that to him. So I really feel we need to give Fat Cat first chance at this license coming. I do, however, have a question about, are you going to have, first of all, you're from Fat Cat.
Hi, yes, my name is Allie. My parents, Ann and John, own Fat Cat. I've worked with them for the last 7 years. I'm growing the business and eventually plan to take it over. I grew up in this community and my heart is here.
Okay. Are you listing here the places that you're gonna be serving? And
Yes.
Outside and patios and stuff? Are you gonna be putting, a beer garden addendum to this?
That is not the plan at this time. So currently we have a back patio that is part of the property and tables out front. And people are allowed to go out as long as they stay within the property and consume beer and wine. And so the plan would be to keep that the same at this point until we grow and hopefully we get a beer garden.
You know, we have some beer gardens in this village and we, you know, they're fenced off. And then we made them now change they can't have flat railings, so they can set a drink on them anymore. I guess my concern is whether that should be a fenced-in area. Jeff, you got any comments on that?
We don't make casinos or the hotel
I know.
at this point. They weren't, you know, and then when we let Larners do have tables at one time, they didn't have to have a fence in, so I mean, I don't really have it's gonna be hard for them to put a fence just like it was for casinos in the front. I mean, I can maybe see something smaller in the back maybe, off that patio, but the front would be next to impossible. I think Joe would probably agree too. It'd be more of a hindrance.
But you don't have the hours that the other establishments do. You close at 3.
Right, currently we close at 3.
So it's not like you're doing
Yeah,
nightly.
I don't foresee us ever being open until our time. We would like to extend our hours, possibly at staff at happy hours, do some fun events, things like that. But I don't see at this time us having the staff be open from 6 a.m. to midnight. Or
So
whatever.
when that time comes, then we can bring that discussion up again. But at this point, it's just until 3.
Right, yeah. And if anything became a problem or there any sort of issue, I mean, we would want to address it immediately. we don't wanna stir anything up, or.
So when you say the lawns, so you're basically saying the entire property.
Well, so we have a designated patio area in the back right now, and it's pretty sectioned off. I don't know if anyone here is familiar with it. We have a big lawn that we keep mowed where we
But-
kind of ask guests to stay off of, and then we have table seating. There's 5 tables where guests really stay. The thing is that we have a lot of bicyclists. We have a major community of bicyclists that come and use that path and use our bike lots and use that stairwell from the bike trail to get up to our patio and into the building.
So when you say lawns, as I said before, you mean basically the entire property. So the north lawn, between the building and Highway 39 would be included in this. So people could ostensibly walk out the front door or back door and up to that area by the highway.
Sure,
With alcohol, I'm not so sure I would be crazy about that. Could you limit that possibly?
I can appreciate that. I mean, we would be more than willing to put signs up at the extent of the patio section that say no alcohol on the lawn, please. I don't know if that's sufficient.
I think that would be,
Because we don't, I mean, no one spends any time in the lawn right now. There's-
Right,
We
I
get
was-
mowed, my stepdad.
you know, your day-to-day business, it probably wouldn't be a big factor, but there are certain times during the year when it
Sure.
might be,
Festivals,
yeah.
I can appreciate
And
that.
we have enough craziness on those weekends that
We don't wanna add to the.
we don't want to add, we don't want to add to the problems,
Yeah,
to the insanity, so I think you'd be willing to take out the lawns.
yeah, I mean, absolutely.
That's really the only lawn part other than the part off the trail,
Mhm.
correct? Just, yeah.
Well, it's all from
Right,
the
right.
patio up to the
Right.
highway.
So Chuck, are you asking her to just strike the lawn part in the,
Yeah, that's, I mean,
we'd have to just make a motion striking that, right? Or approving it
Would
without the lawn.
Exactly.
part of it.
in fact, I would, make that motion to approve the license, striking from the request here. How do you want me to word that?
Yep.
Word
Yep,
taken
that's
as
perfect.
is?
You're doing okay.
From the premises description?
Right. Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So we're looking at just that lawn by the north side to 39. there.
Between the bike trail and railroad
Lawn.
station and from the building to
So
39.
there's essentially not gonna be any sort of seating there, no
Yes.
drinking there type thing, for the future, at least based off of how it's been proposed.
Just as a reminder, this license application would only run through next June. And then as Fat Cat does now for other licenses, and like all of our other license holders do, they have to submit a renewal application where all of this gets approved again.
Yeah, and I would suggest that we not issue liquor licenses based on the fact that they could be, you know, easily changed in the future, because history says, no, that doesn't happen.
Right.
But once they have it, they say, no, this is what it was, and you're causing me hardship. I don't wanna make an big issue of this, but I think the motion's pretty clear. Exterior patios and walkways.
So
And I think that's agreeable, right?
Certainly agreeable, yep.
I'm so torn on this because we went through and we said we have to have, anyone who has like an enclosure has to have a certain degree angle so people can put drinks on it. But then also, you know, that would also be a nice location for people to be sitting out in the lawn, like a picnic area to be drinking their beverages here too. You know, which would be very beneficial for that cat as well. So,
I think if we allow that, we are gonna get a horrendous backlash from the other business owners in town.
I'm surprised we haven't had horrendous backlash already when I'm enforcing, location.
Well, some other locations do have restrictions, Pimples Tavern, Toppers.
Well, to see
They have to
that,
make,
what
stay
we
within
talked
the
about,
fenced area, Cleveland's have to stay within the fenced area.
right, and those.
So we don't have a fenced area here, and I don't see the advantage either, for the community of that, people sitting on the lawn at the entrance to our town consuming alcohol. Not that I think this is a, we're not talking about a bar room here, I understand that, but there are certain times during the year when,
So I guess what I'm trying to get at is Totino's is not enclosed, right? Their exterior patio area where they have tables and chairs, that's not closed, we're not enforcing any sort of, curvature or wall structure like that, but then why are we enforcing that on Fat Cat right now?
well, I guess we are casino, I mean, they must have a delineated area out in front.
Right,
They can't go up Sixth Avenue or,
They have to stay within those seating arrangement areas.
yeah, so that's what we're saying.
But we're saying,
So what we're saying here is.
but we're saying that the green grass area, she cannot use them.
Well, that's behind the.
It's also hard to get to. You know, you gotta go down the staircase to get to that grass area, or gotta go way around the
On
end
the
of the
north
building. It's just me, I don't see people.
What if we put signs at the edge of the lawn?
Right.
You know, that the village, whatever size, however many you need to put, that said, you know, no alcohol beyond this point.
Yeah.
That way
I
they're
mean,
permanent.
but I think that should be delineated in the permit. I mean, in other words, Mike, you're saying, well, then if people can drink anywhere, then they can drink.
I think we're on their property, but essentially we're limiting part of their property from being used.
Well, I think any property is limited, you can't take alcohol out the back door of Pimples, you can't take alcohol out the back door of.
Right, like off of this property.
You can't take alcohol out the, south side of, Toppers, it's all the same thing. Permitted, licensed, permitted areas are always delineated by some boundaries.
Right.
By
And
law.
it's usually within their property, like beyond their property is no.
No, I don't see that, you can't walk out the side door of Toppers on the sidewalk and drink, that's their property, technically.
Interestingly
You
enough.
can't walk out on the sidewalk in front of Pimples or out the back door of Pimples with alcohol.
When the Lions were trying to make every effort to keep the bike trail clean, one of the questions was where were the boundaries? And so I ended up with a map, that, Clark is starting at the railroad station, going all the way out to 30, and it's hard to figure out where the boundaries are. The question that the Fat Cat was who owns the staircase?
Turns out we do.
And the staircase, you know, it goes, the last 2 feet are owned by DNR, so there's some, if you were gonna do this, you'd sure wanna put some fences in and stuff, and I'm not sure that's where you're
May I
at.
ask what the fence stipulations are for alcohol permitted on a private property like that?
Electricity,
Like how high it
wire.
must be, you know, 20?
sorry,
I personally think if you were just to put in the patio area, you just put some sign there, like, so if somebody's gonna go down the steps, said no alcohol beyond this point,
Sure.
I think,
I can
for me, that would be good.
I can appreciate that, and we're willing to do whatever we need to accommodate. I appreciate Mike's comments because we do plan to expand. We do have ideas of having picnic on the lawn and having possible music and having cornhole tournaments and doing different events. And if we need to not have liquor and the village is uncomfortable with that on the lawn, then we're certainly willing to go that route. But if it makes sense for the town and we can add some vibrance and throw some events and have that extra lawn space, that would be great, but I completely understand if that's not something the village is comfortable with at this time.
So let me ask this, is that area between the trail and the building, that grass, are there any plans in the works to perhaps redo your patio to extend that patio out there? If they did that, like if that patio was extended, not now, but
Right.
down in the future, and a fence was put there, would that change the way we looked at it?
Sure.
We looked at it differently, I think.
Just come in and amend
The answer
the,
is not in the works, but in the future, yes, we would absolutely like to extend that patio and make more of a, we're right when you pull into town, one of the first things you see. We'd like to add more of an aesthetic, vibrant appeal where,
So at some point, that could possibly be your
Yes.
goal.
Yes.
So then that would change the way I would look at it. If that was done.
is there anything that would prevent them from coming back in and amending if they were gonna use all that?
Well, now is my point of just saying,
Right.
this is only good through June 30th, 2024. Then they have to submit the renewal application with the
Oh,
same
okay.
addendum, and then that
Down
gets
the road.
approved or modified.
Yeah,
Yeah, the thing I like about the patio currently too is, we know distinctly that is their property. When they start going into the yard right now, I don't know who's what, and I've seen some of the maps, and it's a big question, whose is whose. Once they get the approval and it goes through that, and once they extend it out, I think we'd be better there, because how much of the yard to the east of you is really yours and not the DNR's.
Yeah, and how long before they walk out of the trail?
Right, but at that point, then it's the same thing as if you were walking on the street and you flares during a non-trustable time.
Can I ask,
There's a
how,
violation in one location.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, but, because we don't have jurisdiction over the state property as far as I know.
Or
how, let me ask you, how extensive is your, alcohol, your menu? Is it like Bloody Marys and?
well, currently we don't have it's just beer and wine.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, down the road, were you thinking, like, since it's only until 3, are you thinking breakfast,
Yeah.
Bloody Marys
Yeah.
and that kind of thing?
Exactly.
So we're not drinking
Things like
Manhattans
that.
at noon or?
No,
almost
no, we would like to, as soon as possible, have a happy hour and do music and events and things like that.
Okay.
We're interested in doing specialty old fashions, again, but I don't foresee Cat being open after 8 PM for a very long time, because that means I'm there from 6 to 9, and I can't do that.
Okay, I think Chuck made a motion. Did we have a second?
Yep.
I second it. Do we need to include the signs, the delineation signs in that permit?
I don't think so.
Okay,
It's pretty,
just strike.
Voluntary.
Long.
strike the.
Yeah,
So just as a reminder, I have the motion is to grant the Class B liquor license to Fat Cat LLC, striking lawn from premises description.
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all very much. We
You're
appreciate
very
it.
welcome.
We're very
Thank you.
grateful.
And just a footnote,
Okay.
I see we had another applicant come in that didn't show up to. And voices, I said we had, in this issue, we had another applicant apply for this license that didn't show up again,
Yeah,
to
well, that's,
voice their,
It wasn't required, for them to be present, they did not have to be present at the meeting, if they weren't asked to, it was totally up to them.
you know, if they had enough interest in getting licensed, they
Right,
should show.
I'm just,
That's my opinion. but-
definitely.
Okay, item B,
Thank you.
consideration discussion 2024 capital financing plan. It's on page 23.
I'm actually gonna combine item B and C here. So on page 23, I have a memo kind of outlining these two services that, Ellers, our financial, advisor, provides. So the first one is a 2024 capital financing plan. So this is something that Ellers did for us last year in the budget process. This helps us, develop the capital improvement plan, which I've been talking about. So staff are working on putting together projects, for that 5-year plan, and working with Ellers, we're able to determine how much we can borrow each year, and they can help us plan it out. It's a really helpful service. I'm not a debt, expert by any means, and so leaning on Ellers for that piece will be really helpful in developing the CIP. So that total cost is up to $3,500.
And that will be, if approved, that would be incorporated into the 2024 borrow. So that's what we did this past year for 2023, we just incorporated it into the borrow. If we were going out for bonds, this would just automatically be included in their, fees. Since we did go out for bonds, we went to a market, a bank loan this past year, we got charged at $3,500, that wasn't, part of the administrative fee of the bond, if that makes sense. So that's the first one. Any questions on that one, or on home? The second one, oh, sorry.
Quickly,
Yeah,
so it's costing us an extra $3,500 because we didn't do a bond until we went to the bank.
it would have been the same regardless, it's just where it's being funded. So we would have paid the $3,500 technically in the administrative part of the bond.
Right.
And they just don't charge us for that because they're taking it to market for us. But since we went with a bank loan, they helped us with all of this, so they're gonna have to charge us for it. So we've already gotten that bill, but this is for next year. Well, it starts now, but this is our next year borrow, budgeting for that. If for some reason we went for bonds, then it would just be incorporated again, that bond price.
Okay. Sorry, Lauren, go ahead.
No, thank you for that question. That was good. The second one, is also an Eller's cost proposal, so this is utilities financial planning services. This is something that would be really helpful for the village. They can provide a long-range cash flow analysis for our, water, sewer, and electric utilities. This will also be really helpful for the 5-year, capital improvement plan, but specifically for our utility side. So figuring out, how much we can borrow each year for the next year and doing the cash flow analysis for that would be really helpful. The charge for that service is $8,000. It's about $2,600 per the 3 utilities. And so, obviously the utilities would cover that cost. There would be no tax levy, portion of that.
The utility bonds are all revenue bonds. And don't count towards our limit, or they do?
Towards the limit.
We have a
Yeah, that's a pass.
but the utility bonds are revenue bonds and not dependent on tax,
Correct.
and therefore not included in the total.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So I don't believe, I think Goff is correct in saying that our utility, debt does not go toward their statutory
Right.
limit, is that what you're?
The people who buy the
Yeah.
bonds are looking to the revenue from the utility
Right.
for repayment, they're not looking to taxes,
Right,
therefore it's a whole.
right.
I mean, so this makes sense, because among other things, you're gonna start to see what happens when, if they start to come together in terms of cash flow.
Yeah.
Have fun.
So
You want a motion?
Well, that's what I was just gonna ask, you need a motion on both of these, then?
Yes, if
Move
you want to
forward.
combine them, that's fine too, but I separated them out.
Oh,
Make the motion to do both. I'll second that.
Okay, you got that, Kelsey?
Yep.
Motion and second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item D, consideration discussion resolution 2323, compliance maintenance annual report, CMAR for year 2022. So we're gonna speak on this.
I'll just mention that there's a resolution for this on page 36, and then right after is the CMAR report, and Joe here, oh, there he is.
Exciting.
Joe, do you want to give a quick rundown on it?
So, I know Peg asked me before the meeting what our grade is. Our grade is, we're a grade A. We had brought it up. Remember last year, if most of you remember, we had, land that we had to spread on that wasn't tested in time, so that took us down to, they minused us 10 points. Well, we have 100 all the way across the board on everything that's on there. The reason why you don't see the grade report in the back of this is they fill that out, but we can see it on the computer. and we can't fill it in for you, but it is 100% all the way across page 4.
The only thing I saw was the, assessment by Mike, who gave it
And,
a good because the equipment's old, which is.
but his name is in here, and I've
Okay.
seen that, and we've got to take his name off of there, and then it goes to Aaron and I, and we'll be fine with that, so, but I did see his name was on here,
Yeah.
which we can change that tomorrow when we turn it in. It was supposed to be in the end of last month, and both Aaron and I forgot about this resolution. So we called the DNR right away, and they are very good with Aaron and I because we are trying to do more for what we do down there, and they know us, and they automatically, the head department head that oversees us, immediately granted us that time to get it in, so.
So the
It's not gonna hold it against us.
the phosphorus issue, which has plagued us for many years, is gone because of our
Not yet.
upgrade.
Well, we will upgrade,
Upgrade.
but it will help us in the future.
Oh.
Big time.
I would move the, passage of the resolution 2323.
I'll second.
Any motion second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Okay. Is there anything for Parks and Rec?
I don't think so,
Because you'll have a meeting next week.
The new
Friday.
Friday is done.
That's the important.
I think so.
I do too. Public Works and Safety? I do not.
We have our meeting next week, so in the street project, our T is going into the beginning, following up. Starting their work.
Okay. Nothing for finance and personnel. Joe, have you come up with any kind of an idea when we're gonna have a ribbon cutting on the new substation?
So they, there's a dumpster out there, we know whose dumpster it is, took me a little bit to try to find out. Here's the landscapers, so if you have been out that way, the landscaping company did mow it once. It wasn't our mowers that did it, it was their own company, and the grass is coming in.
Kind of.
Well, it's dry, we're hoping that this rain really picks up and it helps it out a lot. I'd really like it to make it look nice out there for our thing, so. Yeah, I was gonna have it right after the 4th year, we were gonna do a ribbon cutting, but I think we're gonna push it off towards the end of the month. If not August.
Yeah.
I want it to look nice out there, so.
Well, I had 3/4 of an inch of my rain gauge at home.
Perfect.
How much?
3/4 of an inch. Hopefully that'll help a little bit.
You had a little bit more than we did. We rained back in your neighbor. The line was right in their house.
Really? Well, I went to the
Very
grocery
interesting.
store and
Very
I come out and it was just hotter and blazing. I go home, I had a few groceries, I put them away, and then I wanted to look up something on the computer, so I went to the basement, all of a sudden, I got it getting dark, and I went up and looked, and here's raining nice. Let her flow.
And we had a rainbow at this time.
You record in the minutes.
I'm gonna record all of it.
Please.
I'd rather go to the grocery store and use the computer.
So the rainbow, rainbow.
Yes, and all.
Someday that would be historical.
I'm sure it will. They probably
Okay.
won't exist someday.
Anything else on the board? Hearing none, we are adjourned.